So guys, welcome to another gardening video on my channel. Spring has finally sprung. Let's say it together. Spring has finally sprung, and it's only right that I give you 10 crops that you need to be growing in September to get the spring months on the right track to start it well. All right, I'm gonna give you some herbs, some veggies, some flowers also, and then we're gonna sprinkle in some companion plants so they paired with their best friends. All right, I hope you enjoy it, guys. I hope it's helpful. Become a member, subscribe, like, do all the beautiful things, and let's go straight into the video. Thank you. So the first one we have are tomatoes, and you can see how beautiful these tomatoes are doing. Tomatoes are, guys, you need to be growing. You need to start growing these right now. And this is the Roma VF variety. This one also, it does really well, and you can produce some nice tomato sauces with these. You know, they don't take up too much space as well, so you can really go crazy with them. So with the tomatoes, just make sure that they have some sort of support for them. You can see here I have a trellis that at least they will grow up on, and you also here you would see that I need to actually thin some of these tomatoes. They are very close to each other, so these, you know, these ones, they need to come out. So just make sure that if you planted the way I did, which was just sprinkling on the side, then just make sure that you are thinning them at the end, just so that they have enough room to breathe. But definitely tomato, first one, you have to grow this. Spring is here. So the crops that go really well with tomatoes are carrots. These ones, at least, you know, the tomatoes will grow upwards and then the carrots will produce downwards. So these, pairing these up together, will do really well. Then we also have squash. You can literally grow these underneath the tomatoes as they start growing. And then we have a favorite, which is basil. You know, basil also goes really well with tomatoes. It actually enhances the flavor of the tomato, and it can also keep away some of the pests. The next one, and this is a staple in a South African garden, or it should be one, and this is spinach, or Swiss chard even. And you can see here there's vambanctuouses. There's so many here. They grow really well. You can even see here. So what I need to actually do with these is that I need to thin them, so, and then put the ones that haven't produced. You see here there's gaps. Where there's gaps, I'm gonna fill in with the ones that there's too many that are extra in one spot. This is the nana, and this is the big boy. The big boy. This is how, you know, they really grow really fast, really quickly, especially when you keep harvesting them. The companion plants for spinach are strawberries. This is another one that you have to have, strawberries. Then we also have nasturtium. Nasturtium can keep away some of the pests that like to get attracted to the spinach. And then we have some peas. This will help with the nitrogen fixing. This will make the leaves of the spinach more vivacious, more green. All right, so get them together. Next we have peas, and peas are another great one. This one produces very fast, and they are always one of the first crops to actually germinate in the garden. You see these ones, this one doesn't look too healthy, but literally I planted these maybe a week ago, and already they are starting to produce. You can even see over here, this nana is also starting to pop up. So these ones, definitely, if you want fast growing crops that will also not take too long until you can harvest, this is a perfect crop to be growing. One thing I would suggest is that you just have a trellis, that you make sure that they are growing upwards. You don't want them to be dangalizing like this. You want them to be upwards, on hanging onto something, right? Then the companion plants for the peas are corn. You can even use this as a support, where you can grow them next to the corn, and then they can grow up using the corn as support, right? Then also egg fruit is also another one that compares really well with the peas. And then last but not least, we have turnips that also grow really well with the peas. Get it growing. Next we have baby marrow. Let me just show you. See, we have the sign there, baby marrow. This one also, I have to say, my subscribers told me about this one. They said, Karabo, let's grow some baby marrow, you know. And I was like, okay, I've never heard of baby marrow. And once I grew it, I knew why they said I must grow it. This is very good. Number one, it germinates really fast. it grows really quickly, and also it produces a lot. What I would suggest is that you also have a lot of flowers next door to it, and a companion plant for this that's perfect is marigold. I don't know if you can see this plant, it's a little nana still, but marigold is really good as it attracts a lot of bees, and this is also important for the baby marrow to actually produce the baby marrow. If you didn't know, baby marrow is also called zucchini, so you might know, but you might not. Anyway, spinach is also another nice one that grows really well with the baby marrow. That's why it's next door to the spinach patch. Then we also have legumes that go really well with the baby marrow. This could be peas, this could be beans, or bush beans, broad beans, and that takes me to the next crop. You know it. So it's only right now that we take you to the legumes, which we have broad beans and also some of the bush beans. And this is a nana, it's still starting to grow, but definitely these ones are really good to be growing. One thing I like about the beans is that you don't need a lot of space to be growing them. They literally grow at this height, and then they just start producing the beans, and they produce a lot of beans. So it's not just that they produce small amounts of beans. The more you harvest, the more you get out of them. So the companion plants for the beans and the broad beans and the bush beans are tomatoes, and you can see that I have the tomatoes next door here. We also have some nasturtium. Nasturtium is a good one to keep away all of the pests. And then if you want a nice summer crop, this one would be cucumber to pair it up with the broad beans, the beans, all the beans. Okay, then next, a crop that I had to grow again was cauliflower. Cauliflower did really well in the first time that I grew it, and I grew it in the same spot, and it did so well. So I have to definitely grow it again. Cauliflower, what I would also say is pair it up with some flowers so that it actually helps a lot with the pest control, because these really like to get affected by aphids. So aphids love the cauliflower, and once they infest the crop, it's really over. So getting some preventative measures will really help the growth of the cauliflower. One thing I would pair it up with is marigold. Make sure that you are pairing it up with marigold. This one, you can't go wrong with the marigold. Another crop that you should pair it up with is chamomile, and then also some sage, right? So some sage will also help with the pest control, and you can see we're next door to each other, all right? And you can see now I actually need to transplant or thin these out. There's too many in one space, and I can actually do that with you guys because there's also some spaces that haven't been filled. So basically you just need to take out some of the ones, and I would just take out maybe one that's doing actually really well. Just take it out like that, and then let's put it into a hole. Yeah, just there. And then make sure that you also water, or that this spot is already wet, but just make sure that you water, just so that it's not so much of a shock for the crop. Then last but not least, for the veggies, we have some kale, and you can see again they're also bunched up together. They really grow really nicely. Look how beautiful these are. But definitely kale, another one that grows really fast, really quickly, produces a lot. So definitely growing this in the garden, you won't be disappointed. And the variety that I would suggest is the chowmalala. This one really does well in a South African garden, so I'd always recommend this. And then the companion plants for this crop is garlic. This one will keep away the pests, and this one also likes to get attracted by aphids, so make sure you have some garlic. Lettuce is another one that likes to be grown next door to the kale. Then last but not least, we have beetroot as well. These ones companionize well with each other because the beetroot grows downwards and then the kale grows upwards, so they can provide enough space for each other. Then the flowers that I would suggest that you get in your garden that are a must have is marigold. This is when they start growing. They are very easy to grow. These are actually considered a weed in some places. These really help with pest control. If you have a lot of pests and you want to control them, marigold is definitely the one to get. It really helps a lot with the aphids. So cabbages, kale, cauliflower, broccoli, growing them next door to these will do really well for your plants. Then another flower that's a must-have is the nasturtium. The nasturtium also does really well with the pests, and it adds a nice pop of color to the garden. This one actually acts as a trap to the aphids. So this one will actually trap them, and it will actually keep the aphids preoccupied with the nasturtium, and it won't go towards the crops that you want to be pest free. Then last but not least, for the herbs, we have chives. This one can also help a lot with deterring some of the pests. Easier to grow, and a perfect one to grow in September. And that will be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. Let me know what you are growing in the garden at this moment, and what are your choices to start the spring season off right. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love, peace, grow every single day.